Good evening, my goblins and ghouls. Tonight we are doing a fun Halloween flow. All your favorite poses, but with fun names. So we will get started in the center of our mats in a child's pose. So go ahead and set yourself up. If you have a block, you may want to have it handy for later on, just placing it somewhere near the top of your mat. And as you settle into child's pose, you'll bring your big toes to touch, widen the knees, allow the hips to draw back, and just let your chest melt down between your thighs as you extend your arms way forward. Allow your breath to become the focus of all your awareness and attention as you just take a few moments here to begin to settle in. Begin to drop out of your day and your mind's activities and more into your body. Just letting breath and body be the focus of your attention. Letting your breath get nice and long as you breathe in deeply through the nose. See if you can expand your breath on all sides, the front, the side ribs, and the back body. And as you breathe out, you're going to let the body contract. So the rib cage kind of squeezes in and the navel draws towards the spine, creating an emptying sensation here. And moving in and out of the inhale and the exhale, you begin to create a rhythm of your own. Bringing in that ujjayi sound as we draw the breath up against the back of our throat. Allowing the sound to help anchor the mind and anchor our thoughts. Beginning to create not only a warming effect, but a calming effect on the body. Ujjayi breath, the breath of victory. A breath that we can lean into during our practice at all times. And once we set this cadence of breath, let's try to remember the steadiness of it and lean into it when you come into more challenging poses. So it's always interesting to notice what happens to my breath when all of a sudden I'm standing on one leg and I'm twisting this way and doing something else. Do you notice what happens to your breath? We strive for equanimity, to stay with that steady breathing, even in those challenging poses. So I'll invite you now to come up onto some fingertips, creating a little spider, spooky spider pose with the hands. And as you do this, stretch your fingertips even further away and press your hips back even more. Feel that stretch through the arms and the shoulders, plugging the shoulder bones into the shoulder joint. And then lift the elbows if they're not already. We're going to walk the fingers, our little spiders, over to the left. And you're just going to stretch out that right side body here. So anchor your right hip down. Breathe into your right rib cage, picture a skeleton and just see that rib cage opening up as you breathe into the side. And then spider the fingertips and crawl them over to the right. Same thing on this side, we're gonna stretch out the left side, pushing that left hip down, anchoring the sit bone and breathing and expanding into the left side of your ribs. Find your skeleton, bring it to life with your breath. Good, and then walk the fingertips forward and then crawl those little spiders back towards you. I'll turn to face you here. Staying on tops of the feet and the ankles and the shins, we're gonna bring the knees together and you're gonna lean back and lift your knees off the mat. So what's happening here is we're stretching the tops of our ankles, we're stretching the tops of our feet, Just kind of breathe into this sensation. It can be a little bit intense if you're not accustomed to this. Typically we stretch our toes, but this is for the feet. You're gonna walk your fingertips back behind you. Let's roll the shoulders back, open up the chest. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice. Okay, rock yourself forward. Come onto your finger pads. Tuck your toes under and let's come on to the toes. So now we're going to stretch out those toes. Begin to find balance as you root all 10 toes into the floor. Widen the knees. So maybe your heels touch below you. And see if you can come a little bit more upright as you walk the fingertips in. Bring one hand to one knee, one hand to the other. Now, picture yourself as a little ghost. You're just floating and hovering over the ground. Little ghost pose here. Maybe you move your arms and you add a little bit of movement just to challenge the balance here. Go ahead and acknowledge the little wiggles and wobbles in your feet and your ankles as we build that strength. Take one more breath in your little ghost pose. And as you exhale, bring your hands back behind you and let's lower down onto our sit bones. So we're going to sit right in the center of our mat and extend our legs all the way forward. Pull your toes back towards you and engage the backs of the legs by pressing them into the mat. Extend your arms all the way forward. Come into your best Frankenstein and take a deep breath in as you stack your shoulders over your hips, pull your navel towards your spine. And as you exhale, you're going to tuck your chin and roll your Frankenstein self down onto the laboratory table and bring your arms all the way overhead. Stretch out here, press through your heels and reach out through your fingertips. Imagine that you're in traction on that laboratory table, Frankenstein style. Now inhale, bring the arms straight up. As you exhale, navel to spine, chin to chest, roll your Frankenstein self all the way up, and then maybe stretch a little bit forward. Inhale, come back to the starting position, shoulders over hips, tuck chin to chest, round on the exhale, coming all the way down. Using your strong core muscles, float those arms overhead. Inhale the arms straight up. Exhale, Franken roll yourself all the way up, really anchoring the heels towards the mat, maybe taking it a little bit further forward this time. Inhale, back to the starting position, nice straight spine, shoulders over hips. Tuck the chin, round your Frankenstein self back, using your core and laying the bones down one at a time, arms overhead. Last one, inhale as the arms come up. Exhale, tuck and roll all the way up and see if you can stretch all the way past your toes or towards your toes. Grab onto whatever you can find and take a moment to walk your sit bones a little bit further back. Lift your chest and try to straighten the spine as much as possible. If your hamstrings are tight, I would expect to see a bend in your knees. Please go ahead and do that if you need it. But breathe into this. We're opening up the backside, that whole chain of muscles and connective tissue along the backside of the body. Take a nice full deep breath in and then exhale to release. Let's draw the right knee in. Actually, I'll stay to the side. And you're going to just grab the sole of the foot and extend. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into the hamstrings here. Flex both your feet, even that bottom foot, the one on the mat. Draw the toes back towards you. Keep both legs engaged. Push out through that right heel and then lift your chest. So we don't want to be rounded in this pose, but stay nice and lifted, feeling your belly pulling in towards your spine to assist with that. And then take your left hand and reach for the outside of your right foot. We're going to turn to the right as we sweep that right arm back, coming into a twist. Push out through your right inner heel, draw your right hip back, sit up nice and tall, and reach back behind you. Maybe you look at your back thumb, Maybe not, that's okay. Wherever you are, take a nice deep breath in to lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, take that twist a little bit deeper. Good, come back to center. We're gonna bend that right knee and you're gonna fold it on top of the left. So we're coming into a half Gomukasana pose. So the knees ideally are stacked here. This bottom foot is still engaged, drawing back towards you. And we'll take a full breath in. And as we exhale, we're gonna walk our fingers, our little spidey fingers, towards that foot. So this time you can round a little bit if you need to, or stay lifted for a little bit more of a challenge. You should be feeling this as a nice outer hip and hamstring release. So for all of my desk workers, for those of us who sit a better part of the day, this is for us. Breathe into it. Send some love and some breath into those chronically tight hamstrings. And just see how deep you can go to help open up these spaces. Breathing through it. One more breath in. On the exhale, let's walk the hands back. We'll release that right foot to the inside of our left thigh. And we'll take a side stretch as you lay that left arm down inside the inner leg line. Lift your right arm up and just root that right hip down. Stretch out your right side body. One more time, picturing your skeleton, your rib cage, opening up, reaching for those left toes, really rooting through your sit bones, especially the right side. It may want to pop up. So give it your best to ground it down. You could turn your gaze up and underneath your right arm if you'd like. And then inhale to come on up. Your right hand will come outside of your right hip. As you exhale, you're going to come up onto that right knee and shin. Left leg stays long, gazing up at a full spooky Halloween moon. Stretch the hips forward. Give your glutes a good squeeze. Let your head go and open up the front line of the body in this pose. One more breath in. Exhale as we come back and down, extending both legs forward, give them a little shake. And we'll take that sequence on the other side, bringing your left heel in, grab the foot, and extend out for your hamstring stretch. So press through the heel. Just be aware of how this side, may feel different from the other side. Giving it as much attention and breath as you need. That right foot is still engaged, toes are spread. You're grounding down through the back of that right leg. Pushing out through your left heel and lifting your heart. Keeping the chest engaged and lifted, keeping the spine nice and long. Lots of deep breaths here as we send love into the left hamstring. And then your right hand will reach for the outside of your left foot. Sit up nice and tall and then sweep the left arm back as you press through the left heel, coming into your twist on this side. So draw your left hip back as you push through that left heel and take the chest around to the left, sitting up nice and tall, and then rotating from the navel as you turn the ribs and the chest open, maybe looking back towards your left thumb. Nice deep breath in, feel the squeeze and notice your breath here. When we're twisting, it might be a little bit harder to take those full breaths. One more breath in. On the exhale, release to the front and then cross that left knee on top of the right for a little half Gomukasana on this side. So that left heel sort of tucks to the outside of your right hip. Right leg is straight, toes flex back towards you. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, walking the hands forward, any amount on this side. So right outer hip, right glute, right hamstring, getting all of the attention and the breath. You may also feel it on the left side, but maybe not as much. It depends. Everybody's a little bit different. Just encouraging you to drop into your ujjayi breathing, finding a steadiness so that whatever resistance your mind is telling you, you can overcome with the power of the breath. Just letting the breath kind of guide you through the more difficult sensations. Keeping this pose in mind for a little bit later. Just a hint of things to come. And then slowly walk the hands in and rise on up. Let's take that left foot to the inside of our right leg. And then we'll take our side bend as you stretch the forearm to the inside of the leg. Lift that left arm up and just lean out and over that right side. Again, you want to notice if your left hip or sit bone is kind of popping up. Anchor it down as best you can. Really breathe your rib cage open. So picture those skeleton bones, those ribs, but they're not a dead skeleton. It's very much alive. So send the breath into it. Maybe turn your gaze up towards the sky. Breathing into it. Good. And then bringing yourself back and up. We'll let the left hand drift off the mat behind you. Sweep the right arm up as you come onto your left shin and knee. Right arm stays long. Go ahead and press the hips forward as you lean slightly back. Let your head relax. Oh, breathe into this beautiful front body stretch. And then on the exhale, bring yourself down nice and slow. We'll go ahead and bring both feet to meet. So bring the soles of the feet together. You can interlace your hands underneath them. Pull the heels in nice and close. And just allow the knees to draw towards the earth. So use some engagement here. Actively press the inner thighs and the knees down, and then use a little gravity to help as well. Keep your chest lifted, keep your spine long, keep your shoulders relaxed. Let's add a lion's breath here. We can make it a monster breath if you want. So as you breathe in, fill yourself up. As you breathe out, you're going to stick out your tongue and go, ah! Just like a monster. Good. For a little extra credit, you may want to feel, if it's possible, to move forward or slightly lean into it. Maybe those elbows kind of come to the inner thighs and you take this a little more forward. It will deepen the sensation of the stretch. You want to keep your spine long here. Breathing into it any amount that allows you to go a little bit deeper. Not required, but just something to think about and maybe to explore. All right, one more beautiful breath in. And as you exhale, bring yourself up. Nice. Let's extend the legs, give them a good shake, and we'll swing them around for tabletop position. You are invited to bring your hands in any position if you'd like to get more of a wrist stretch, turning the fingertips towards you or out to the side, or just traditional, whatever works. We'll stack the shoulders over the wrists, spread the fingers wide, bring the hips right over the knees, and we'll go into our cow pose as we soften the belly, lifting the tailbone and the gaze as you spread your chest open. And as you exhale, you're going to round into your spooky Halloween cat, lifting your navel towards your spine, letting your head drop. Feel your shoulder blades spread open on your back. Inhaling, finding that nice extension of the spine, coming into cow pose, belly is soft. Exhaling, feeling the flexion in the spine as you round and pull into your scary cat. Move like this for a couple of beats as you lift your heart on the in-breath and as you tuck your tailbone and chin on the out-breath. Maybe dropping your mind's eye into your spine, again, thinking of your skeleton here. Paying attention to the articulation of the bones as they move in both directions. Creating lots of space here. Opening up the spine, so important. Good, and when you come into your next cat, let's hold here, chin to chest. Really feel that beautiful sensation of your shoulder blades spreading open on your backside. And then release, come to neutral. And let's send our right leg back behind us, bringing the heel in line with our sit bones. So already you should feel some engagement of your core here as your navel hugs up towards your spine, front and back body strong. Extend the left arm forward and come into balance, reaching out through the fingertips and back through that back heel. Pay attention, there should be wobbles, right? In balance, we're always trying to find equanimity, so there's constant little modifications and moving around to get there. Use the strength of your core to help you extend out in both directions even more. Take a deep breath in as you reach. Exhale, elbow to knee, you're gonna round in, pulling navel to spine. Inhale, extend and reach long. Exhale, round yourself in, nice and strong, push the mat away. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, pull in. Last one, inhale, reach out. And exhale, elbow to knee. Reach out, hold. Let's do another monster lion's breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a ha. Good, left hand comes down. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and walk the left knee back, coming into a scary dragon lizard kind of a pose here. Untuck the back toes if you'd like, and just begin to draw your chest up. So come upright first to feel the hips as they begin to press towards the mat, forward and down. And then feel the nice release in the front of your left psoas and hip flexor. As you feel ready, you're welcome to come on down. Maybe you use a block if you'd like to prop up and bringing the earth a little closer to you. Or if you're ready, you can come all the way down onto forearms. If you have a favorite variation that you'd like to play around with here, you're more than welcome to do so. You want to spin those right toes out to the right, maybe press into the right thigh with the right hand to get a little bit deeper stretch. Really explore what is meaningful to your body tonight and where you'd like to go. It's all a practice, and each one of us have individual practices. We'll do the same poses, but the experience for each of us will be completely different. So honor your body where it is tonight. Find your spookiest, scariest lizard right here. And then if your toes are turned out, bring them to face forward again. So toes facing forward, hands come inside the foot. Lift the back knee as you tuck the back toes. And we're going to pull the hips all the way back, straightening both legs. So a little bit deeper into the hamstrings here. You may want to come up onto those spider fingertips and lift your chest once again. Try to straighten your spine and at the same time, try to pull your right hip back. You can assist with that by really pressing into your right big toe and the whole side, inner side of your right foot. Breathe into this. And then as you're ready, you can go ahead and fold over the front thigh. Feeling the intensity of the stretch. If you'd like to go deeper, place your left hand under your left shoulder and take a twist to the right. So you continue to pull that right hip crease back. We're twisting open to the right and stacking our shoulders. Really going deep. You may feel this in your glute, your IT band, targeting that tough area. Good. We'll release out of the twist, rebend into the knee, and take a quarter turn. You're going to bring that left heel all the way down, and you're going to walk your fingers out just about 45 degrees from your thigh. So I'll come to this side, you can see. You're going to walk out at an angle on those spidey fingertips. And as your fingertips and your chest reach forward, your hips are going to reach back. So kind of sink the chest down. Imagine down dog with your chest. And then this warrior two foundation for the legs. Getting deep into the hips. Breathe in and out here. Good, and then walk the hands in, pivot the right toes to the long side of the mat, and wiggle your feet out a little bit wider. You want to have a nice wide stance here. Take a breath in as you extend forward, and then breathe out as you release down. Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm coming into our first wide-legged forward fold. I'll suggest taking the arm bind, chest opener, as a variation to include here. You'll clasp your hands behind you, straighten the arms as much as possible, and let the arms arc towards the top of the mat. Squeezing your shoulder blades and feeling the front of the chest getting a good opening here. Let your head go, shake it yes and no. Press into the outer edges of your feet. Feel that big squeeze of the shoulder blades on the back. One more breath in, and then exhale to let the hands release. Walk it out forward. Pivot the left toes to the back of your mat, and then we'll turn to face it and step back to your first downward facing dog. So take a moment here as you press your heels down towards the floor. The hamstrings should be pretty warmed up, but if they're not and you need to move, go ahead, bend and pedal it out. Continue to press forward and down into the hands to send the chest back towards your thighs. Let your head go even here. Relax your jaw. Feel the heels working towards the mat as you press them down. Take a full breath in, lifting your hips as high as you can. And as you exhale, we'll go ahead and drop to our knees and take the sequence on the other side. I'll spin around for you guys. Tabletop position, please. Left leg back, heel in line with the sit bone, foot flex, right arm forward. Begin to feel the engagement of front and back body as we build and condition our core. Nice full breaths here. Pressing out through that back heel and reaching long through the fingertips. Deep breath in. On the exhale, elbow to knee, you're going to round and curl in, rounding the upper back. Inhale, extending out nice and long. Exhale, tucking and curling in, chin to chest, keep your thigh lifted. Inhale, re-extending out, nice and long. Exhale, pulling it in. Last time to inhale, extend out. And as we exhale, let's take that lion's monster breath. Ha! Letting that go. Good, the right hand comes down, the left foot steps to the outside of your left hand. You're gonna walk that right knee back. Just check in with that alignment of knee and ankle on the left side. Come upright onto your spidey fingertips and just let your chest lift as the hips start to get comfortable and melt forward and down. Just giving them a moment to adjust, kind of figuring out where we're headed. And then as you're ready, go ahead and lower down if you feel like it, onto a block or onto the forearms, or take any other variation you might like, turning the toes out. Maybe staying on that right forearm and bringing the left hand to the inside of the left inner thigh, giving it a little bit of an opening as you press it away. Trying to lengthen that space from your hip to your knee. Wherever you are, just be in your body. Let your breath reconnect you if you went somewhere else. Right, dropping in. Ask yourself, where am I? The answer is here. Ask yourself, what time is it? The answer is now. You should be here and now, right on your yoga mat. If you're anywhere else, come back in. It's much more fun here. All right, we're gonna slowly come out of that. Come back onto your fingertips and we're gonna spin the toes back if they were turned out. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and let's send those hips back as we straighten both legs. Walking the fingertips in to lift the chest. So get nice and long here and begin to start working that left hip crease back. So it's probably gonna wanna come forward, pull it back, pressing into that left big toe mound. And then as you're ready, you may wanna fold and lengthen out over your front shin. Breathing into this side, noticing how it feels compared to the other side. Staying here or maybe adding the twist, bringing your right hand underneath your right shoulder and then rotating the chest open to the left. You're still working your left hip crease back. You're still plugging into the left big toe mound. You're rolling your right ribs underneath you and stacking your shoulders. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice job. Let's bend into the front knee. Bring the back heel down and walk out 45 degrees, stretching your spider fingertips away from you and sending those hips back, coming into this modified down dog lunge, or kind of a down dog lunge. I guess that's what you would call it. Down dog, upper body, Vira 2 or lunge, lower body. Feeling a big stretch in the hips. Good. Stay here and breathe. I'm going to turn around to the other side so you can see where we're headed next. And then gently bring the fingertips in. And we're going to go ahead and come back to the center. So once again, you're going to bring your legs to straight. Line up your toe tips with one another. Walk the hands forward and you're going to come up onto the toes. So the heels lift here. Bend the knees and drop the hips a little bit. So you're kind of coming into a little squat. You're staying on your fingertips. Cross your hands. Now drop down and come into this funky little goddess spider pose. Breathe here. Feel what's going on in those feet and ankles. Do the best you can to breathe through the shakes, the wobbles, whatever may be there. One more breath in. Exhale, bring the heels down, walk the hands forward, and let's pivot back towards the top of the mat, taking downward facing dog once again. Take a few breaths here, really check in. Notice how your legs are feeling. Notice your hips. Notice the warmth you've created in your body. Appreciate all that good stuff. And breathe. All right. Come up high on the toes. And on your next breath in, let's come forward into plank pose. Think of this as like a zombie in plank. Stretch your tailbone towards your heels. Keep your belly lifted and your thighs engaged. Stretch your heart forward and look past the top of your mat. Take a nice full breath in, and as you exhale, we're just going to drop the hips slightly and pull the heart through. So a modified upward facing dog, staying on the toe tips. Take a nice full breath in, let your shoulders melt down your back. And as you exhale, use your core muscles to pull you up and back. Let's do that again. Inhale high on the toes. Exhale forward to your zombie plank. Inhale, find that upward facing dog variation, pulling the chest through and up. Nice stretch for the front of the hips. And then exhale, using your belly muscles, pull all the way back. Good, take a full and deep breath in here. Open mouth, let it go with a ha. And we'll go ahead and bend the knees as we lift up high on the toes, look forward, walk or hop your way up to the top of the mat. Halfway lift as you extend your spine. Exhale as you fold down. Rise up, bringing your arms out to the side, coming all the way up to stand. As you exhale, we're going to scarecrow the arms into a little back bend. Ooh. Inhale, bring the arms up and overhead. Exhale, we're going to dive back forward and down. Let's hold here in this forward fold. Maybe bend into one knee and then the other. Just giving the low back a chance to open up a little bit more and those hamstrings a little bit more. Good, come to stillness, halfway lift, extending your spine. And then exhaling, stepping back, finding plank pose, zombie plank. Push the earth away, engage your legs, draw tailbone towards heels and lift your heart forward. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale, let's lower halfway down or all the way to the belly. Inhale, maybe stay on your toes and take that modified up dog or take cobra. And then exhale, pull navel to spine as you press back, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Open mouth, let it go with a ha. Good, let's lift the right leg up now. Reach it up, back and behind you. And then bend the knee and let the hips start to open. So that left foot travels, or the right foot travels to the left side of your mat. And you can make some nice big circles here, getting rid of any of the stagnant air or energy that's been kind of stored up during our day, sitting at our desks or wherever we've been. Nice. I'm going to turn the other way. You're going to keep your knee bent in that hip opening position. And as you inhale, come forward into plank and exhale, open up into Shavasana or wild thing, taking a crazy, creepy variation, your fun and games, whatever it may be. You could lift your right foot, you could hook your right hand, make it a fun variation, whatever it is, breathing in. And on the exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Pressing the hips high, pushing forward and down into the hands. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Right leg lifts, once again, breathe in. Exhale, step it up by the right thumb. Bring your back heel down at a 45-degree angle, warrior one. Squeeze into those inner legs and rise up, finding your warrior Virabhadrasana one position. Check in with your front knee and your ankle. Press down strongly through the outer edge of your back foot. Lift your chest and square your hips as much as possible. Maybe even taking the hands to align them a little bit more in that direction. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see where we're going to go with this fun sequence. All right, breathe in, breathe out, find that scarecrow again. Lift your heart, wiggle the fingers. Bring the arms up and overhead and then open nice and wide. We're going to bring the left arm forward right on top and find a bind as we wrap our arms together. I think you know where we're headed. Let's spin onto our left toes and then maybe a hop, hop, or a step, step. You're going to bring that left knee forward and up. Let's cross it over the right thigh, maybe taking a double wrap or a single, and then try to line the knees and the elbows up with one another. Try to level out your hips as well. We're going to call this mummy pose, all bound up like a mummy. Feeling the constriction, squeezing and compressing in. One more breath. As you exhale, unwind just the arms. Lift up just enough to make a crazy crow or a bat variation. And then step your left foot all the way back. Spin the heel down and open into warrior two. I will turn to the side. Your right knee is bent. Your knee is tracking your middle toe. The back edge of your left foot is grounded strongly, and you're dropping down into your hips. Stack your shoulders right over your hips and let your heart space grow here, reaching long in both directions. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, you're going to reverse back. Maybe this time we grab the wrist with the left hand and stretch those skeleton ribs a little bit more. Stay deep in your front knee. Breathe into the shape. On your next breath in, let's straighten the front leg and take it back into reverse triangle. You can either hang on or let the arm come down. Maybe even wraps back behind you. Appreciate this beautiful shape. And then arms come out to a T as you lift up. You may want to heel toe your back foot in just a little bit to shorten the stance. As you breathe in, you're going to stretch out and over your front thigh as your hips move back, kind of tilting the pelvis. Exhale, drop the right hand down to the inside of your shin or your calf, and then lean the chest back as you stack your shoulders. Maybe you take your gaze up, looking up. Think about this beautiful foundation that you're creating that looks like a candy corn, candy corn shape. Those were my favorite as a kid. I think every kid loved those. Just pure corn syrup. Oh my God, I couldn't even think of eating one today. And transitioning now, left hand to your left hip. Let's bend into your right knee. You're going to crawl those spidey fingertips to the upper right hand corner. And then maybe one or two little hop hops come onto that right leg as you lift your left leg up, finding half moon pose. With your left hand on your hip, see if you can draw that left hip a little more on top of the right so that your hips are essentially stacking. Maybe that left hand reaches up to the sky. Maybe you bend the left knee, reach for the foot, and kind of come into candy cane, or maybe like, think of it like a full moon variation here. Breathing, finding balance, trusting in yourself. And if you fall, think of it as a teaching opportunity, no more than that. No other feelings or negative sensations associated with it. We just learn. One more breath in wherever you are. On the exhale, let's release and forward fold. Let everything go. Take a soft bend in your knees. Shake that all out. Feel the energy that created in the body. Feel your prana, your life force moving through you. Good. Come up halfway and just heel toe the feet in a little bit closer. Maybe big toes to touch. We'll bend the knees, drop the hips back and down. Rise up. Utkatasana. You know where we're going here. So shift the hips back and let the weight start to rest into your heels so that your toes are nice and light. Keep your chest lifted, inner thighs rolling in and down, so thighs are super engaged. Feel the hugging in sensation from the outer hips in. And as you breathe in, let's extend the arms back into an airplane pose. As you breathe out, lift your heels. Balance here. Breathing, feeling the wobbles once again. And then inhale, lower the heels. Exhale, rise up to the top. Take that scarecrow back bend. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale as you dive forward with a flat back. Halfway lift here. Stepping back to downward facing dog or taking a vinyasa. Lowering through to chaturanga. Inhale, maybe taking that upward facing dog variation on the toes. Exhale from the core, pull back, downward facing dog. Taking another breath in, letting it go. Let's take a little reset, step your feet wide. Walk your hands back enough to let your heels drop to the floor. And place your left hand in the center of the mat and thread your right arm underneath to catch the outside of your left ankle or shin. Let's turn up and underneath that left arm. So think of this as a dog variation. How about werewolf? Looking up and underneath in this twisted dog werewolf variation. Feeling the center of your body getting a good rotation. And then releasing, let's take that to the other side. Left hand reaches for the right outer ankle or shin. Pull your gaze and your chest up and underneath that right arm. One more beautiful breath in, twist it out. And exhale to let it go. Good, spidey crawl your fingers back and out. Find your downward facing dog. And let's take that sequence on the other side. So your left leg will lift, bend the knee, and open the hip. Go ahead and take any movement on this side if you feel like rolling the knee open, maybe even just bending and straightening the leg. That could also be really nice. Or just staying in one position in stillness, lifting the knee and drawing the heel over to the right side of the mat. Keep your shoulders nice and square. Good. And then keeping the knee bent, let's inhale, come forward into plank. And exhale, roll to the outside of your right foot. Drop the left toes, find your variation of wild thing or Shavasana, any kind of creepy variation. Make a monster out of your wild thing. Breathing in, breathing out, let your head go. Take one more breath in. On the exhale, back to downward facing dog. Deep and full breath in. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Left leg lifts, reach it up and back. On the exhale, step it up by the thumb. Spin the back heel down, engage your legs, hugging front heel to back heel as you rise up for warrior one on this side. Take those little adjustments. Note the placement of your knee over your ankle. Ground down strongly through the back of your right foot. Maybe take hands to hips to encourage a more squaring position. Good. Let's take the arms up and overhead. Look up at the sky. Exhale, find that scarecrow, opening up the chest. Inhale, arms up and overhead. On the exhale, bring the arms out straight. This time, right arm forward, left on top. Find your wrap. So maybe you just take the backs of the hands to meet. Maybe you grab your shoulders. Maybe the palms can meet as well for a double bind. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot. And then as you're ready, maybe one hop, maybe a couple. Bring that right foot up. Knee drawing forward. Find your steadiness. And then we'll hook the right leg over the left. Toes can relax alongside of the left ankle. Maybe they tuck behind the left calf. And then do your best to align your elbows with your knees as you sit nice and low. Level out the hips. Lean back a little bit more. Bringing the shoulders over the hips as best you can. Squeeze into center. Finding your mummy on this side. Good. Let's inhale to unwind just the arms. And then exhale, find your creepy bird. Big breath in. Step that right foot back. And then pivot open to warrior two. Your left leg is forward. Left knee is bent. Wiggle the feet wider if you need to do that. And extend your arms out straight from your heart. Check in with your front knee, bend into it nice and deep, stack it right over that left ankle. And breathe some strength into your legs. Feel that grounding, rooting sensation. Big, strong breaths. Letting your heart lift. Letting your tailbone draw down, pressing through the legs, finding that strong earth connection. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to reverse back. Maybe grabbing the wrist with the right hand to open up those skeleton ribs on this side a little more. Stay low in your front leg. The foundation doesn't change. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's inhale to straighten the front leg. Option to continue to pull the wrist long or to drop the back arm down. Feeling that big stretch through the entire left side. Rising up on your breath in. Heel-toeing the back foot in just a little if you need to. As you inhale, we'll stretch out over the front thigh. Pivot the hips back. Exhale, releasing into our candy corn shape here. Bring that right shoulder over the left. Lean back as if you had a wall behind you that you could lean into. Float your right thumb over your face. Turn the gaze up if possible. Breathing in, strong legs, solid foundation. Breathe out. And then bringing the right hand to the right hip. Turn the gaze towards the top of your mat as you bend into that knee. Spidey fingertips walk you to the upper left-hand corner. Push off of your back toes as you float your right leg up. Staying here, this is a great place to be. Both legs are engaged. Your top foot is flexed. Your gaze is down. Your left fingers are right underneath your left shoulder. See if you can kind of rotate your right hip a little bit more on top of your left, and maybe turn your chest a little bit more to the long side of the mat. Right hand maybe releases up. Maybe you bend the right knee, reach for your foot, and see if you can come into this variation. We're going to call it full moon pose on Halloween. Press your foot into your hand if you can make the bind. Breathe in. Breathe out. So awesome, guys. One more breath. And then exhale to release into a forward fold. Let it all go. Feel really good about where you've been and what you've done. Be grateful you're not Frankenstein, mummy, or werewolf. All right. Heel toe those feet back and in towards one another. Bend the knees, drop the hips down. We're going to rise up one more time through Gomukasana. So coming on up here, this is fierce pose. And it does feel fierce indeed, really working those big muscles in the lower body. So I'm going to turn to face you because we're going to turn this into zombie pose. So take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to bring your arms down in line with your shoulders and turn them forward like a zombie. Lift up onto the heels. So we've already practiced that. Keep your legs hugging in. So lots of inward engagement, and start to lower. Tiny, tiny bits, go slow. Really get in touch with that burn. A little bit lower. Zombie. A little bit lower. A little bit lower, maybe your sit bones to your heels. Awesome, guys. One more breath in. And then exhale without using your hands. Come down onto your bum. Extend your legs forward. Give them a good wiggle. Well done. And let's come back to our Frankenstein. Shoulders over the hips. Arms extend out. Feet are flexed. Take a deep breath in, lift up long through your spine, and as you exhale, roll yourself all the way down and onto your back. Take your arms overhead, get a good stretch, maybe even feel like your body's getting tractioned right on the laboratory table. Good, and then draw your knees into your chest. So as promised, that half Gomukasana is going to turn into a full Gomukasana on our backs. So You're going to cross your right knee over your left. Let your ankles and your feet be loose. Roll up just enough to catch your ankles or your shins, whatever you can find that's comfortable. Flex your feet and then lower back and down. And you're going to draw your heels in. We're going to draw them kind of up and then down and in. Draw them out towards the outer side of your body at the same time. We're going for a big stretch in the IT band there. Feeling that outer hip release. Keep your feet flexed. Keep your arms active. Pulling up, back, and down and out to the sides. Woo. One more breath in. And then exhale to let that go. Let your legs just flop a little bit. Releasing that. Ooh, that's such a good stretch. Let's take it to the other side, left over right. Keep your legs nice and loose as you roll up. Find your ankles or your shins. Flex your feet. Roll on down. And go ahead and start that up, back, and down direction. Pulling the heels wide and down. Stretching into your outer left hip on this side. Keeping your shoulders relaxed, keeping your jaw relaxed. There's a direct line from your jaw to your hips. So if your jaw's relaxed, then maybe you can find some more room and depth in your hips as well. Whew. One more breath in. Oh, and then exhale to let that go. Let the feet flop, the legs flop a little bit. And then allow the feet to plant to the mat, your heels in line with your sit bones. Let's come on up into bridge pose. Lowering the hands alongside of the body, palms face down. Press into the feet. We're going to give that tailbone a little scoop as we lift it up. Pushing the hips up towards the sky. Drawing our knees away from us and drawing our chest towards our chin. You're welcome to walk your shoulder blades towards one another. Bring the hands to meet underneath. Maybe clasp them and then press into the backs of the arms and the forearms to give yourself a little extra lift. Feel what's happening across the front line of the body. Keep your knees in line with your hips, not splaying out or drawing in, but parallel. Parallel to one another with those inner thighs engaged as if they were hugging a block. One more breath in, release the bind if you have it. As you exhale, you're gonna roll through your spine, dropping the vertebra down one at a time. Nice. Hug those knees into your chest. And let's rock off the hips, bringing them off the mat, coming into a shoulder stand. So extend your legs up towards the sky. Spread your toes nice and wide here. There should be no tension in the neck. You press into the shoulders to keep you supported. If your body is craving movement and you'd like to maybe straddle your legs or scissor them, you are welcome to take any variation that suits you tonight. Lift the hips as high as you can. Point the tailbone up. Breathe into the shape. Feel that wonderful release of energy through the legs, down towards the heart. And then if you'd like to, let's release into plow pose. Slowly guiding the legs overhead, toes maybe meeting the mat or the floor behind you. Keeping your hands at your low back for support. Breathing into this decompressing Kasana. So good for the low back. For those of us who sit, this is a really welcome pose. Opening up any tightness that can easily lodge there. Dead man's variation, if you want to drop your knees towards your ears, the outer sides of your head. Take that, very appropriate for Halloween. Ah, so nice. And then begin to think about coming out of the pose. You'll release your hands to the mat, palms facing down. Zip up your legs, and then using your core, once again, we're going to roll through the spine. The spine got a lot of good working out tonight, a lot of motion to create some lotion in the vertebra. The core got a nice workout. Continue to use your core as you let your legs just gently float to the floor. Keep your feet flexed, push through your heels, and that nice engagement through the legs. And then gently touch down. Draw your right knee into your chest. We'll take a quick spinal twist, drawing the knee across the body as you extend your right arm out or up or in a cactus shape. Let your right knee draw over to the left side and keep your right shoulder melting towards the floor. Close your eyes here. Drop into your body, the mind's eye, feeling the twist through the center, through the spine. Sending breath and awareness to our internal organs as we give them a nice massage. And then we'll roll back and onto our backs. The right leg goes long and the left knee comes into the chest. Give it a good hug. And then invite it over to the right side. Left arm in any position you like. The knee doesn't need to touch the floor. If it does, great. Doesn't have to. Take this wherever it feels good for you. And then just breathe. Slowing down the breath. Feeling that wringing out all the muscles along the spine. Even our internal organs on this side. And then rolling back to center, extending the left leg, and coming into the best Halloween pose of all, corpse pose, Shavasana. Set yourself up for a few rounds of unassisted breath, just letting your breath breathe naturally through you. Giving your body a full opportunity to relax and release here. Softening from head to toe. Adjusting shoulder blades a little wider if you need to. Unhinging your jaw if you need to. Letting fingers and toes release. Just giving yourself permission to lay here for a few moments. Allowing your practice to integrate fully within your body. Feeling the melting quality with each exhale as you ground a little bit deeper. Feeling the lift of the heart, the openness of the chest. Feeling the softness that we created through effort. Take a few moments to invite movement back in, maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, allowing the head to turn. Whatever feels good and right as you begin to bring yourself back. And slowly take your knees into your chest to give yourself a good hug. And we'll draw the forehead up to meet the knees, coming into a little baby pumpkin pose. Wrapping your elbows in close, knee towards the knees. Breathe into your pumpkin. And then on the exhale, either roll to your side or rock on up to come up, making your way into a seated position. Any variation that feels good to you. Allow the eyes to close and bring the hands to meet in front of your heart. Sit up nice and tall. I'll leave you with this thought tonight. It takes as much effort to come from a place of fear as it does to come from a place of love and joy. So ask yourself which one you're going to choose. Will it be fear or will it be joy and love? With that beautiful thought in your head, bring your thumbs to your third eye center and let's bow to the light that we all hold within, acknowledging it, sharing it. Namaste. Thank you, my ghouls and goblins. Thank you for your fun practice tonight. It was a lot of fun to guide you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Sometimes our practice can just be playful and a good time. Enjoy the season. Remember, the veil is thin right now, so maybe you'll have some visitors.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Melissa.
Yogi. See you again.